Chapter 7. Bonus System Abridged.
Carl was surprised that Callista was added to his list, and all her needed to do wasn't her money to get this. But he also noticed the harem capacity was filled, which made him wonder what would happen now.
But before he could process his thoughts, his phone rang out loud. He checked his phone and noticed it was a number he didn't have, and instinctively knew it must be Callista.
That was fast, Carl thought to himself. He expected her to play hard to get, but she called in less than a minute.
Carl took a deep breath. He didn't want her to find out anything about him just yet, but he didn't wish to pick up the phone call.
Unlike her, he had every intention of leveraging his position. She was a money-hungry lady, so he wasn't surprised that money was all that was needed to sway her, considering she tried to scam him for her damaged bag.
She couldn't afford it, or she wouldn't have done something as silly as that, and his phone suddenly came to a halt. Carl took a deep breath. He was so close to making his first millions, but he needed to send more of this money.
That was all that was on his mind. He remembered the crying face of the human responsible for the accident and cringed. Damn, that lady was fugly, Carl muttered under his breath as his car came to a halt at the front of his apartment.
Mr. Jones was sitting outside of the complex with his 5-year-old daughter running around.
He caught a glimpse of the car parking in his driveway. Mr. Jones saw a potential customer and sprung to his feet, but he froze in place the moment he saw Carl walking out of the car.
Maybe he really did sell his soul to the devil,
Mr. Jones muttered under his breath. Carl's life had changed, and there was a certain spring to his steps. The mediocre life that had crippled his happiness was no more.
The sky was his limit. Carl caught a glimpse of Mr. Jones, and the older man started to back away from him.
Why is he backing up? Carl thought to himself with a raised brow, but he realized what this must look like, and remembered what he had told him before. Carl chuckled at the thought. He was glad that this man was his landlord, or he would have been homeless long before this fortune came into fruition.
Carl waved at him before entering his apartment, leaving Jones to stare at his brand new car in a daze. Carl entered his apartment, and suddenly, everything around him disgusted him. THX furniture, right down to the peeling paint on the wall.
Carl knew this room needed a renovation because from the look of things, he would soon start having ladies come over.
However, he knew that he would need a bigger house to accommodate them, but he couldn't abandon Mr. Jones due to all that he had done for him. Carl would feel guilty, but he had the wealth to maintain his apartment, even if wasn't going to be staying there.
It could act as a sort of second home, but he didn't want to touch the money currently sitting in his bank account. Carl was paranoid. He had tasted poverty, and every penny mattered to him right now until he crossed that millionaire status. Ildor sicked. I get it, Joy 111 loyal hided is 011 isn't that right?
But how much bonus are we talking about? Carl wondered, and then again. A science screen appeared to explain the situation to him. The bonus is based on a percentage system. The percentage of affection is divided into sections.
Affection bonus
120, X220 140, X440 160 180, X880 110, X10. This made sense, and Kyle instantly knew he had to make a move. Jane would be a lot easier to woo because she worked at an Apple store. What fancy place could she have been to?
As opposed to Callista, she had an expensive bag. Go figure. Yet he also knew she was driven by money, but weren't most women. Carl was left with a choice that the average man wouldn't even consider a problem, and that was which of the girls was he going to take on a date.